This is another stop for Christmas Vlogmas 2020 with StephanieGrams.com, and I'm going to give you an independent review on the Mothman stuffy pattern. I am using a thin flannel type of material for this Mothman, and right here I'm just showing you that I doubled my fabric. That way when I trace it out with my yellow tailor's chalk, I will cut 4 of everything. I'll end up cutting 4 wings, 4 leaf antennas, the front and the back of the body at the same time. And I'll show you the red in a minute. The red fabric, I end up cutting 4 eyes because I'm going to end up making another Mothman later on. But anyways, I double my fabric. It cuts the cutting time. It makes sure that the antennas, the wings, and the front and back bodies all match because I'm cutting them at the exact same time. So like I said, I'm just using yellow tailor's chalk, and it dusts off whenever you want it to. You just kind of rub it off. But be mindful of the fabric that you do choose to use, because maybe tailor's chalk won't work for you. And the red fabric right there, that's for the eyes. I'm not going to give dimensions or any other information about the pattern because it's not my pattern. And this is just an independent review of the Mothman pattern by another pattern maker. And I will put their information in the bottom of the box. This is not a sponsored video. I purchased the pattern on my own and all the fabric, and I used my own money for this. Again, it was a special request. Otherwise, I would have never even looked into making anything called Mothman. I vaguely remember reading about Mothman, and it's like a West Virginia folk art or folk tale or something. Just if you just Google Mothman story, it's interesting. And I don't know, I thought it was kind of funny myself, but I have a sense of humor. So here are the wings. I just wanted to show you that I cut the bottom, like the curved parts first, and then I go in and cut like a V through the I call them divots, but there might be a better name for it. If you know a better name for what I'm trying to say, please feel free to leave it in the comments section. So they kind of remind me of an awning for a porch. Anyways, these wings are very long and they drape down the body of the Mothman, and it actually turned out cute. The video is actually fast forward. I did a fast forward throughout the video. That way it didn't last 30 something minutes and bore you. So I do take you step by step on how I did assemble this Mothman. So hopefully it helps you along the ways. Again, the pattern to this links directly to the pattern designer's website. This is not sponsored, and I hope that you enjoy watching. Please give a like and a subscribe. I'm trying to reach a 1,000 subscriber goal, and it's just been 2020 has been an interesting year, so that's been my goal all year long. I think I've been at YouTube pretty regularly throughout 2020. I have so many different playlists and different videos that have to do with sewing and owning a sewing business and different techniques. Oh, right here. So what I did is I poked a little hole in the eye. I folded the front body part in half, and I cut a hole where the eye goes, and then I cut the hole for both eyes at the same time. Be sure that you separate the front of the body from the back of the body. Otherwise, you're going to end up with 2 fronts to the body, and I don't know if you want 2 eyes on the back and 2 eyes on the front of your Mothman. Here I am. I'm using tailor's chalk, and I'm drawing the leaf pattern onto my fabric. And then what I'm going to do is turn the fabric, and then right here for the eyes, I'm putting little snips in it, and again, get the pattern to learn why I'm doing that. All in all, I think she did a really good, or he, I shouldn't say she, the person, the pattern designer, did a really good job with coming up with this pattern. The pattern pieces are well developed. They're thoughtful, meaning that the dimensions of each body part, and there's only 4, so it's a super simple pattern. The dimensions or measurements look great together. You know, I don't know if you ever had an independent pattern and when you went to follow the directions, it just didn't look like the picture. And so this is true to the picture of the finished product. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, leave a comment in the comment area and I'll do my best to answer it for you. Here I am, I'm pinning the eyeballs. Now, for the first 2 Mothman that I made, and no, I lost the video to that one, trying to clear up space on my iPhone. Yeah, and ended up deleting it permanently, not realizing it hadn't finished uploading to the iCloud. So I did have a learning experience. Anyways, I digress. The first 2 that I made, I glued their eyes with fabric glue instead of following the directions. And here, I'm actually following the directions and I'm stitching the eyes into the body. So I ended up with 3 Mothmen with different eyeballs, and I think they all turned out really cute. So the customer is going to be thrilled either way, and they will actually end up with 3 Mothmen and only paid for 2 because I have no reason to keep the 3rd one unless I just keep it for myself, which I might do. I might just keep it for my studio. Yeah, never mind, scratch it. They get the 2 they bought. Sorry, customer, if you're listening, I'm going to keep the 3rd one and just put it on my shelf as a remembrance of the Mothman order. So right here, I'm just pinning the eyeball in place. You don't have to do that. You can do it however it works for you. I stuck myself several times with this small space, and here I decided that I'm going to hand sew the eyeball into the body because I could not finagle getting it under the foot of the presser foot of my sewing machine. I just could not get it to fit. So I thought, you know, I'm not going to waste any time trying to do this. I'm just going to hand sew it with a quick stitch, and it turned out fine. I think it turned out just fine. Anyways, again, you do what works for you. Follow the pattern directly as I decided to hand sew instead of machine sew this into place. There are other steps for the eyeballs that I will not share in this video because, you know, the pattern designer has a way to make the eyes fit even better. So again, feel free to purchase the pattern from the designer's website, and it is linked in the comments below. sewing the leaf antennas. So I flip them inside out, right sides together, if that makes sense. And I sew the perimeter. And this is in fast forward. I didn't actually sew this quickly. I was very slow going around the corners, because this is kind of a small stuffy or plushie, whatever you want to call it. I'm using my pinking shears to cut around the leaf antennas, and then I will turn them right sides out and sew the leaf veins. Here I am going to sew both of the wings, just with a 1/4 of an inch seam, going around the corners carefully, making sure that I leave enough room to use my pinking shears to trim around the seams before I turn them right sides out.
I am now making what I call the Mothman sandwich. So I lay the Mothman face, the front face up. Then I lay the leaf antennas in their position that is marked on the pattern. And then I lay the wings inside the body and fold them to the middle. That way they don't get caught in the sewing machine. Now for the top layer of that sandwich, I'm going to lay the Mothman body on top and pin it with straight pins all the way around the body before I put it back underneath the sewing machine.
that the Mothman sandwich is sewn together, I am going to turn it the right side's out. Be very careful when you do this. That way all your little body pieces stay intact. I'm now taking some new polyfill and carefully stuffing this Mothman plushie. And I use my hemostats, and I'm using a shorter pair of hemostats because I want to be very careful not to press through the seams that I just sewed together. And just take your time. Again, this is on fast forward. I didn't actually work this quickly, just so you know. If you're not familiar with my sewing videos, I do play them on fast forward for the most part to save on time. Now that my Mothman stuffy or Mothman plushie, whatever you want to call it, is completely sewn and stuffed, I am going to close up the top seam, which is about 1.5 inches to 2 inches between the leaf antennas. And I'm going to hand stitch those. You can follow the pattern directly if you want to. This particular customer did not mind having this particular stitch. Again, listen to your customers and then purchase the pattern from the pattern designer site, which again I've left in the comments. This video is strictly just for educational purposes and it is not sponsored. for watching this educational video on how to sew a Mothman plushie. I am an independent pattern designer and reviewer. If you have a pattern you would like me to review, please leave that in the comments below. Have a great day.